Welcome to video 8 of the Search for a Better Health series. In this video, we're going to be looking at antigens and how they stimulate the immune response. And then once we understand antigens, we'll be able to look at why organ transplants do in fact trigger an immune response. So an antigen is substances that trigger an immune response. And from there, we're able to stimulate a series of reactions that work to destroy the substances that are identified as foreign. And so some of these cells or markers that markers might be on foreign organisms, a foreign cell, a cell fragment, a protein debris, or a toxin. So we can look at antigens like little labels on a cell, and all of the cells within our body have our name written on them. When our body identifies a cell that does not have our name on it and in fact has the name of somebody else, we classify this as an antigen, and then our body has to work really hard to make sure that we remove that cell from our body. And the process which allows that is the antigen and how they stimulate the production of antibodies. So then we have the antigen antibody complex, which we're going to look at in more detail in video 10. So, why do organ transplants trigger an immune response? So, if we look at some organs that might be able to be transplanted, we can transplant heart, lungs, kidneys, livers, intestines, and pancreas. And a organ which is being put into another person's body does not actually have that person's name. So instead of having my name on this cell, on this organ, then now the names of somebody else. So therefore, our body has to find a way to destroy these cells. Our body's not smart enough to know that we in fact do need these cells. So therefore, we then have a problem. If we look at a bit more detail at organ transplant, a person might be put on a transplant list because they have end-stage organ failure, or there are other treatments that they might have tried have failed, or that their medical specialist believes that they'll benefit best from a transplant. When a person is put on that list, they are then allocated the organ that they require in a fair and equitable process, which is organised by the government, and it takes into no account their race, religion, gender, social status, disability, or age. The only time that age does become a factor is if it's relevant to the organ that the person will require. So, Donate Life is an organisation developed by the Australian government in order to increase the rates of organ donation and to spread the message that it is important. And so in 2016, 503 deceased people were organ donors, and their families allowed 1,447 Australians a new chance at life. So a person has to nominate before their death whether they would like to become an organ donor, and then once they are unfortunately deceased, they can then allocate their organs to people on the waiting list. And in 2016, this was the highest number of organ donors and transplant recipients since national records began, and this is partially due to Donate Life and their campaign to increase organ donation in Australia. So just like I said previously, this transplanted organ has what's recognised as foreign antigens. It triggers the immune response, and therefore antibodies are produced to try and destroy this new tissue. Some people are prescribed drugs called immunosuppressants, which lessen the immune response, but this lessens the immune response to all antigens that then occur within the body. So a person is more susceptible to infections. A way in which we can try and reduce this problem is by tissue typing. So a person is usually matched with someone who has a similar blood type to them in the hope of minimizing the difference in tissues or antigens. The only way this does not become a problem if an organ is being transplanted from one twin or an identical twin to another. In terms of the immune response, and this slide will make more sense after watching video 10, so it might be useful to come back and look at this slide again later, is that cytotoxic T cells are activated and move to the transplanted organ to attack and destroy the cells. If we prescribe a person with cyclosporine, it hopes to lower the risk of rejection by reducing the activity of T cells. This makes sure that not the whole immune system is suppressed and the body is still able to defend against other organisms. The only thing that this drug does do is it minimizes the interaction between B cells and T cells, so there's a greater risk of other infections. Thank you for watching video 8. Make sure you tune in for video 9.